All right, so I just gave you a rundown of sort of the do's and don'ts of teaching recall. And today Chloe's with me and she's going to be helping show some of the recall games. I like to refer to them as games because really, you know, recall is another one of those things that for some reason, everything we teach, everybody uses this great tone of voice, you know, sit down. And then we come to things like come, and all of a sudden people sound like they're mad and they really use this deep voice, like somehow that's going to help the puppy learn to come to you. And it's really the exact opposite. We want to be really cognizant of your tone of voice. Sound like you're going to have a party when that dog gets to you. Those are the things that they're going to respond to. So number one foundation game that we have been practicing from day one is name game. And again, all we're looking for when we say that dog's name is for them to do this head turn really quickly and acknowledge us, find out what we need. If we don't have that, we are not ready to start working on adding a word like come. So we're gonna see right now, this is really hard because Ziggy, our little Ziggy girl, is working with Chloe and has treats that she's getting delivered to her pretty regularly. So what's gonna happen if I try to say her name? We're gonna stop for a minute and see what happens. Ziggy! She was already sort of looking at me. Yes, good girl. Good. It's very hard to walk away from somebody. We'll try it again. Ziggy! Yes!
Oh my goodness, yes, okay.
Sometimes they need a little encouragement. She turned and looked at me and then she was like, should I, shouldn't I? You know, at that point, I want to be careful about repeating names and repeating cues, but I can be a bit of a cheerleader. So as soon as she turned and then she was conflicted as to what to do, I kind of amped it up a little bit and that caused her to just make the right decision. All right, so we're gonna try that one more time, just name game. I'll do it, then you can do it, Chloe, and then we're gonna work on some of our games. Okay, so Ziggy! Yes, very nice. Remember, treats hidden until that dog is close enough that I can put my hand on their collar. I don't have to put my hand on the collar all the time, but make sure those treats remain hidden, okay?
Hi.
Ziggy!
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. Good.
Good. Okay, so now we're gonna progress to just a simple recall game where we call back and forth. This is a great game that families can do. We can add additional people as the puppy gets better. Going back to my recommendations from the first video, I want you to have the best, absolute best treats when you're practicing recall. When you're adding that word come, you want to make sure that puppy's getting those delicious treats that they don't always get for everything else. So if I were doing this, I would normally say, okay, Chloe, you can have chicken and I'll have some string cheese. I'd make sure that all of us have something different but equally as valuable, all right? Key to practicing with more than one person is if the puppy will not leave the person they're with, that person has to turn their back and ignore the puppy, okay? And then we'll figure out what to do if we don't get the right results, but make sure that if that puppy is standing with you and if someone else calls the puppy by using that word come, and they're not responding, that you're really using body language, not making any eye contact, anything. So we're gonna give this a whirl, all right? So, ready? Ziggy! Come! Yes, okay. Lots of conflict. Very hard though. He knows that my friend here has delicious treats, so what to do, all right? So now let's try. Go ahead. Ziggy! Come.
Nice.
Very good. Good job. Ziggy, come. Yay. Now, if this dog were brand new to this, I would not necessarily add a sit at the end, or I would make sure that I'm doing multiple treats. Treats as that puppy gets to me, and then pull those treats up to get the nice sit finish. But Ziggy's pretty good at this, so
Did you figure out the game?
we figured out the game. We figured it out. We're just gonna run back and forth. We don't need to wait till anybody calls us.
No.
Okay, so that's a pretty easy version, all right? Now we're gonna do something else called restrained recalls. What I mentioned to you earlier was that when I use that word come, I wanna build drive. I wanna build speed and enthusiasm for a recall. So one of the ways to do that, weirdly, is to prevent a dog from getting to the thing they want to get to. So when we're practicing this, this might be a great time to get something like a toy that your puppy really likes. Show that, so I'm gonna have you hold on to Ziggy, and I'm gonna kind of amp this puppy up a little bit, like, oh, look what I got, look what I got. And then I'm gonna get pretty close, hide the toy. Ziggy, ready, come! Yes, oh, good job. Now, if the puppy isn't interested in the toy, but hopefully I can get that puppy interested, yes, we can finish with the nice game of tug. And then if I really wanted to be savvy, I could work in drop it. Yes, remember we've had some videos on that last week. Now I'm gonna trade that toy, I'm gonna toss that over, and I'm gonna restrain the puppy. Look what's that, look what's that. Ziggy, come! Yes! Yes! Nice. All right, so that would be restrained recall, holding that puppy back until they're really amped up, and then letting them shoot out of that gate to get to the other person.